All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. Been a while since we've talked about the meme stocks, and I mean, really, you can see why. A whole mess of trading under the 8 and the 20, and you know nothing good happens under the 8 and 20 moving average, right? Clearly, GameStop drops the hammer because of some actual good earnings. It's not like it was for nothing reason, right? But I think today really shows why I hate after hours and pre-market. You very much get your hand stuck in the cookie jar more often than not, right? And it opens up here, but clearly closes down here, right? But nonetheless, monster day. And the question, as always, with these recent runners will be, what's going to happen tomorrow? Is this thing going to pump and dump, or is this thing actually going to sustain, break some moving averages, and keep going, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about. What are we going to do before getting into the details? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages, these horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself, and then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please like, share, comment, whatever. It really does well with the YouTube algorithms. But even if you do nothing, just thank you so much for watching these, okay? And then look, I am not perfect. I am not all-knowing. If you disagree with anything, hey, throw it in the comments, all right? I'm not going to be a hater or argue for no reason. And yeah, if your opinion's better than mine, I'd very much like to hear it, okay? With all that said, let's get into it. And again, look, I know I always say 80% of the work is up here, but I do like to focus down here first with our recent runners, okay? So volume, you can see very much was well under the 50 moving average in volume, right? So we are historically in this like 7 million range, give or take. Looks like 4 or 5 million actually. Sorry about that. Yesterday, we go from 4, basically 5 to 15, right? Give or take. We 5x that. From there, we go from 15 to 60, right? That's another 4x right there. Those are monster steps, right? The question really will be, can we hold 60 million, or are we about to drop back down to this like 12, 15 range, or even going to go lower back to 4, right? Because just look, as I zoom out, it's been a long time since we've been in that like 60 realm, right? And give or take, it's only one pop and then it kind of goes down, right? Obviously, that was a big exception right there, right? But look, obviously the fact that there was a news, the fact that hey, it sounds like they were profitable and all that maybe does something. But look, if you watch my videos, you know, I actually don't care about news or fundamentals at all, right? I'm really all about the technicals, and we're going to talk about this shortly. But one more time down here, we need to hold around 60 million volume. Maybe the lowest I'd be willing to go is like 50, right? Like a 45, 50, I think is the lowest. But yeah, you don't want 30 million shares traded. That's half of today, right? That's not a good thing. So we gotta hold volume. Obviously, when you make a monster 35% day, your MACD is gonna do well, your RSI is gonna do well, right? So I am kind of disregarding these a bit. Numbers not too high. If it was a little closer to 80, you know I'd be a little more worried. Let me just kind of see real quick. This was actually in the 70s at the peak right here. Let me zoom out just a little bit more. Have we had 80 RSIs? Maybe not since this even. Wow, even this wasn't. All right, interesting. It does look like this is kind of the max RSI we've seen in a while, but clearly that's a nicer uptrend than we've seen in a bit, right? But again, I think it's all about volume between these three. So let's talk about the moving average, again, what I care about the most. You know, first off, it's been a while since I've made this video, and you can see my lines are now pretty much lined up. Sorry, my cat's trying to get out. Let me let her out. What are you doing? Oh my gosh. What are you doing? Get out of here. Okay, bye, baby. Okay, sorry about that. So you can see my lines are definitely starting to kind of tie in almost to the penny with these moving averages, right? It's been a while since I've covered these. If you go back to the last time, like those were the original lines, right? So but what do I see? Look, monster gap up to the 200. The 200 is last for a reason. It's the hardest to break for a reason. And it pretty much lined, is it like to the dollar? Man, it's basically 5-cent difference. But I have a hard resistance line as well as the hardest of the moving averages, right? So though we open here, it actually does make sense that we drop to down here. I know it doesn't look like much, but someone, if they actually bought somewhere here or even a little bit higher, they lost at least 10%, right? Because every 260 is 10%. It looks like we definitely lost a little bit more than $3, right? So it does actually suck that though we see this 35% day, someone definitely lost some good money here, and that's not a good thing, right? I like good green candles, not what we see here, right? But ultimately, what's the story for tomorrow? The story for tomorrow is this line. If we can get over 26.44, look at this plateau right here. This is a really, really, really heavy line right here. There's so many places you can make a support or resistance. So yeah, this will be the money line to break. You can see a little above it, that 28 line. I don't think this one's going to be as hard. I almost want to delete it, but I guess it does hit the couple of these, so we'll just leave it, right? But really, this 26.44, I'll go ahead and set an alert for 26.26. Look, an alert is not an immediate buy notification. It's definitely a, hey, come check it out. But yeah, if we break this plateau, the goal would be red, 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 turns into green, 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 right? And we might be coming near this 40, near this 40 realm. So, but again, can't talk about 40 until you break 26.50, all right? And look, we're at 23 and change, so it's not going to be an easy move, right? It's definitely a, I know we just dropped 10%, but yeah, it's you know, don't underestimate the difficulty of breaking those two lines, okay? And look, ultimately, we just destroyed 3 moving averages, right? We gapped up over all of them. I need some hardcore confirmation, and I think that confirmation actually means closing above 26.50, really, you know what I mean? Otherwise, I can see us coming down here near the $22 range, around the 100 moving average. Honestly, I can even see us coming down here, but I'm hoping this is strong enough to catch it. Hopefully we don't go any lower than 22, but coming down to either of these is actually really plausible. And yeah, I think a lot of it's going to be dictated by volume. So I think that's a pretty good analysis of GameStop. Let's just look at the weekly really quickly. Look, obviously this whole thing was from today's movement, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of disregard it. But before this week, all we were doing was trading under all 5 moving averages on the weekly, right? Obviously a lot of lines here. I mean, this is a stock. You know what? Let me. I should have done it earlier, because I'm already 7 minutes in. You know what? I'll delete the lines next time I do this video. It at least wasn't as noisy right here. So we at least have a decent stepstone up to that 40 range that we talked about. So, and honestly, I don't even think this, I'm going to delete this line. I don't even think that line's that important. And you know what? I'm going to actually, yeah, let's just do that. The only reason I got rid of that is, look, that's the one insignificant green. Obviously, it's going to matter a bit, but I don't think it's worth putting the line right there too much. So, cool. That is GameStop. Next up is basically what I kind of consider the brother to GameStop is AMC. So look, today was a really, really important fail, right? Because we open what looks like well above the 8 moving average, right? We actually opened well above this 458, 460 resistance that I had, right? Which is the bottom of this candle, give or take. It seemed like we were going to chase this red, 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 red and turn it into green, 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 green until at least right here, give or take, where that hard resistance would have been. Unfortunately, we don't do much. Look, I'll give it the fact that it at least held 50% candle of yesterday. Maybe that's a little bit of a reason to believe, hey, we'll try again tomorrow. But yeah, that's a bad failure. And again, I think it just goes to nothing matters on AMC until you crack the 8 moving average. Bad things happen under the 8 and the 20. Really, really bad things happen under the 8 especially, okay? And you don't want a stock that's trading under the 8 like this. So yeah, if today closed differently, shit, if it closed right here, like around 460, there would have been so much reason to believe we would have come to 555, 575, give or take, right? But right now, all I'm seeing is a stock that's back under the 8 moving average. And again, like I said, just my trading strategy really is that's not a good place to have your money. So not too much to talk about here. We'll look at the weekly real quick. Yeah, definitely not a good weekly, so I'm not going to waste too much more time. APE, I think, I saw that this one had some movement. I think it's the exact same thing with AMC. I know when I peeked at this stock, it was up here. I think it was like at a plus 7%, give or take, when I took a peek. I might be wrong, but I know it looked good. Unfortunately, again, you see it, right? This is a beautiful example. Great things happen above the 8 and the 20, the blue and orange line. Once you go under it, and once you're especially just under the 8 and like just can't get over the 8, it's so bad. And the moment you can get over the 8, you'll see the 20 is going to reject it, right? So You don't want your money in these. It's nice that game is at least kind of trying to show a curve, but again, I think this curve really came from this massive jump, and the question will be, is it going to be sustainable, and are we going to watch these lines go up, 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 or is it just going to kind of short live and then go back down again, right? So game is definitely the best of the bunch here, but again, game has so much to prove before I feel good. Obviously, I'm happy if you made some good money today, don't get me wrong, right? But the question is, will it sustain? And right now, I need a little bit more to believe this one will. And again, AMC and APE just don't look that good. Hey, I appreciate your time so much. If you agree or disagree, just let me know. Otherwise, thank you, thank you, thank you.